So today I'm going to clean the polytunnel, and I think I've come up with a clever idea of cleaning this thoroughly by using some of the gadgets that I've got on site. Let me show you what I've thought that it might just work. So I'm thinking if I use my Karcher pressure washer, my Bluetti Powerbank, and also my Bosch pump, if I connect this to the IBC tank, that will give water to the Karcher, and then to give it power, I'll use my power bank. I'm thinking it could be a way of cleaning this so thoroughly and being off-grid. So let's have a go. Fingers crossed. So like I just mentioned, this will go in the IBC, which then will connect the water to this. And then it'll also then give power by plugging it in to here. And hopefully with water and electricity, this might just work. So let's connect it all up and hope for the best.
You should see the city lights tonight. I don't think they've ever burned this bright. Did you know when how everything would turn out? We learned to run, we learned to fight. Sooner or later, we can become strangers. Someday, somewhere, we can be new. Just wait, just wait. If I only knew how to make it true, we could write a new ending for you.
It didn't work. So I came over today and I was hoping that the Bosch pump and the Bluetti and the Karcher all together could power wash this, but the power going in was too much for it, which is such a shame. But I'm going to go back to the drawing board now and just use it the normal way of using a brush, a hose pipe and some disinfectant, and let's just clean this polytunnel. And yeah, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, you know, but at least I tried, and yeah, it is what it is. Let's get this polytunnel nice and clean. So it was a massive failure, but we're moving forward. My next plan is to add some disinfectant to this, give it a good spray over, and then just brush it all down. So I've got my Wolfgarten attachment. I'm going to attach my brush to the hut now, and then yeah, let's just get all that algae off, and then it then will give more light to the polytunnel, and then the seedlings that I put in there then will obviously benefit from that. So it is a job if you've got a greenhouse or a polytunnel, so get it clean now, because you don't want it all on spring, and that's another job you'll add on, so get it done now.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright.
God, look at the difference of that now. You can actually see into the polytunnel. You just cannot believe, by giving it that little clean, it makes hell of a difference. So I've done inside as well. I've cleaned all the algae off here and taken some of the shelving off as well, the staging. I'm gonna have a good sort out here as well. Give that all a good disinfectant and all the trays, but so far so good, and I'm really pleased with it already. The polytunnel definitely needed to be done, so another job ticked off. So it's a new day. The polytunnel is looking absolutely crisp clean. I have got a bit more to do on the roof, because every time I was trying to clean it, the sun had gone down too much and it started freezing on the top of the polytunnel, like actual frost. So I'll leave that now for a warmer day, but everything else is looking absolutely perfect. The polytunnel feels like it's ready now for spring, but today we've got other things to do. So Johnny, another plot holder, has got too many purple sprouting broccoli in his bed. So I'm gonna try and dig one up. I've seen a few videos that have done this successfully. I've tried with sprouts before and it was a no-go. They sulked and they never did, you know, carry on growing through the season. But the purple sprouting broccoli I'm gonna dig up and then transplant up here in a wheelbarrow and hopefully put it in a nice, well-fed bed, and it'll establish here, and then hopefully we'll get some purple sprouting broccoli. The ones down the grapevine garden, the wind bashed at them, took them as well, and actually took some of the roots. So this might be plan B for the purple sprouting broccoli. I've got one bed here that I've got empty and also one at the back. So I'm gonna have a little look around now and then decide, and then let's plant this up. Now, I've already got some garlic in this bed, but I think I've left quite a bit of root on here. It's got 2 chances, you know. So I think what I'll do is, hold that fig. I've got this little shovel. Everyone always laughs about this spade, but tell you what, it's one of my favourite tools to use. So I think what I'll do is I'll make a hole in this bed, like so. I'll place it in with the compost, fill it in. Now the soil's quite frozen here, but it should be okay. Heel it in. Brassicas like firm soil. So, and then I'll stake it. Now I'll tie it up with some paracord. These are just little offcuts that I had from when I did the tomatoes in the polytunnel. So it's paracord so it doesn't tend to rot and the birds leave it alone. This will now keep the wind off it. Now you've definitely want this staked because the wind will come across and knock this to the ground like I did at the grapevine garden. So it's staked in. What I'll do now is I'll make a frame over it and protect it, because as you can see, the pigeons have had a good old munch on Johnny's plot with this, but that won't really affect the sprouting broccoli. So I'll let you know how this goes on. But for now, I've got a bit of this netting that I'll place over it, like so. Now, another thing that I use a lot on this plot and the other one is these like carnival stall clips for like market stalls, and they just clip on the beds. They're perfect, so I'll put a few of them on as well. Now, there still is lots to do on the fig and olive plot and also on the grapevine plot, but they're little jobs, you know, picking things up, doing a tip run to get rid of all the bags and all the rubbish. But I can see the bones now again for these plots, and as you know, in spring this will be a forest of flowers and food, so it's still exciting times ahead. You've probably noticed that the channel has changed to called Grow Up, and the reason I've done that is personal reasons to myself, and also the fact that I didn't think that the fig and olive and the grapevine garden were combined as a unit, and people were getting a little bit confused as well when I was saying this is the grapevine garden and I was on the fig and olive plot. And also I wanted a more simpler channel name that didn't just incorporate a grapevine. So there are reasons that I am, you know, that I'm sticking to, and I hope that you support the channel still. And I've had a few people say like, oh, we prefer the old name, but 99% of people are really happy with the name and they're really thrilled with the progress the channel's making. And it's definitely, it's symbolic to me, the word grow up, because we all change, we all mature as gardeners, and also plants grow up. So it seemed really fitting for me. So let's carry on with it. You'll all get used to the new channel name. I've had so many people saying, I've seen grow up in the channel list, and we're wondering, where did this channel come from? And yes, it's still me. But let's carry on now. Spring's almost here. I'm always excited, as you know. I'm sure you are too. And let's hope that our channels grow, your viewing grows, and everyone's plants all around the world, you know, grow up. So there's no sign of life in this bed yet for the spring bulbs. I'm sure underneath now they are well bedded in, but they're safe under here, under this nice mulcher bark. This growing area that I want to talk about now, let me show you my plans. So this area here I've discussed a few times now, and I've decided that I'm going to take this back to the bones, back to how gardening used to be. I've got photographs of this area years past. I mean, I'm talking 50 years ago, and this was rows and rows of cabbages and leeks and onions and everything, and I want to turn this into a back to basics area for viewers as well. And I want to remove the fancy beds and everything else. It will be no dig, but I want to have nice rows and little tiny bark paths in between to walk through, and have everything: carrots, onions, cabbages, maybe even a row of potatoes here, and show you that you don't need fancy beds and everything else and raised beds, but it's going to be a growing experience for me, and also you can watch me do it as well. So that's what's happening here. It's going to all go back to the bones. And the same here. All the raspberries are going to be dug out. They're too erratic here, and I'm going to have a nice trellis system put in, and they're all wired in on tension wires, just like I had done the grapevine garden in years past. And also I want to put in a sweet pea trellis, so we've got a nice wall of sweet peas all at the back of here as well. And then in the front here I'm putting all bulbs in, spring and summer bulbs. So yeah, plan after plan, and I know I'll get them done. I'm always positive about the garden, and I always achieve what I need to, and if I don't, it's always next year. But for this year, that's the plan. Trellises for sweet peas, raspberries all pruned back and in an orderly fashion, and then a huge big arc here of spring and summer bulbs and a traditional growing area at the back. The pond might get expanded. I'm going to have a sitting area here as well on this plot. Down the grapevine garden, I'm having a fruit cage put in soon, very soon. All the fruit bushes are coming down. Why do I do this to myself? But it'll be worth it in the end. I know it will be. And this year, I'm going to be going back and forth each plot. I don't know whether or not I'm going to do an episode on each, you know, alternate, or incorporate both, because I want to unify this channel more. I felt like I spent a lot of time in the fig and olive this last year. Let's get some more gardening done today. So as you know, I've mentioned that this is all going to be herbs down here, and I think the bay leaf tree will be perfect up against this polytunnel here. Will I bury it in? I'm worried about burying it in and then the roots disturbing the asparagus bed, but I might just bury the pot or put a bigger pot and then bury it in a bit. But I think this will be a nice addition. And behind here I'm going to have my mints, my sages, my parsley, coriander, rosemary, thyme, and everything in between. So yeah, I'm really happy about the herb bed. It's going to be huge, but perfect addition to the plot. So I've decided to put a really big established herb bed here, but also do one at home as well, which I'm hopefully going to show you over the spring as well. I'm going to start showing you my home garden as well. I want to establish a kitchen garden there as well, which is quite strange to have both. But the reason is I want to have a bed there, hopefully raised up. I'm hoping for like a veg truck style in my courtyard garden, and then I'm going to have in there salads, spring onions, and then also 2 big tumbling tomatoes hanging off the side as well, so that if I'm caught short, I can just go out into the garden, pick up those things, and then have a nice salad on hand as well. And the same with the herbs as well. I want to have a small herb garden there. I can quickly grab things. But if I'm going to be doing cooking on the plot as well, I want to be able to come over here, grab some carrots, grab some onions, some leeks. And how lovely would it be to grab some of the herbs as well, chuck them all in the stock pot in the shed, on the log fire, and have a lovely little vegetable stew going. and have a lovely vegetable stew going. And have a lovely vegetable stew growing. And have a lovely vegetable stew going on the hot pot, you know. And have a lovely vegetable, and have a lovely vegetable stew going on the stove while I'm gardening. It would just be perfect to do that. It sounds idyllic, but I want to try and establish that for this year. The kitchen garden on this area will be for that. I'll probably be doing some videos where you'll see me harvesting and cooking on the plot as well, because I think a lot of people see harvests and the growing and the sowing, but they never see what we do afterwards. And I just think, what perfect area is the Fig and Olive, where I've got the tools, I've got the little kitchen in the shed, to show you about some of the things I can pull off this, you know, this garden and be straight from plot to plate. So speaking of salads, the seeds that I sowed last week already established lettuces and onions as well, so they already need to be potted on and placed into module trays, and then I'll bring them over here in the next week in the polytunnel to slowly grow on and then be planted out in the polytunnel and out in the beds for spring. So it's already starting. You can already tell in my voice how excited I am. I'm sure you're exactly the same, but I am absolutely raring to go for spring, and I'm sure you are too. So I finally decided that I think I am actually gonna cover these over. Now, I don't want to get allium leaf miner on them either. So I think what I might do is I might put some hoops in, and then on top of that then I'll put a layer of net and then a layer of plastic, and then that should give it some protection then, because the plastic will obviously protect it and keep it nice and warm under there. And then once I leave the plastic off, the netting is already still fitted then as well, and stop the allium leaf miner and everything else. So I've actually bought some more new nets for both plots. So I need to fit some of them on, because if you've got alliums in like leeks, onions, garlic, you want to really be netting them now, because before long start warming up, and then before you know it, a blink of the eye, it'll be allium leaf miner season and they're already in your bed attacking everything. So get some nets, really fine veggie mesh, and just protect those alliums before it's too late. And the same if you've got brassicas in, make sure they are netted as well, because pigeons are getting hungry now. There's not much greenery around, so they will now come down, eat the tops of your sprouts, your broccolis, your cabbages and stuff. So I'm sure you've got them netted, but if you haven't, do not tempt fate. So believe it or not, these are all spare onions, and what will happen to them I don't know, but look at them there. They're just extras that I just planted up through excitement. But the thing I want to show you about the most is this cloche. I've got a second one, as you know, and it actually fits over these gravel trays perfectly as well. So I'm well happy now that I've brought it inside here, and I can overwinter things and also just keep things protected and give that a little bit of warmth inside the polytunnel. I've also collected up a few of my trays that I'll take home and wash, because these will soon be chilies and also salads in here, so they definitely need to be potted up. So I'll take these over now, fill them with compost and grow them on indoors inside a sunny window for a bit, or might even put them under some grow lights. Things are slowly taking shape now on site. I've got some rubbish to get rid of. The purple sprouting broccoli that I've put in, I managed to get in second one, so I've staked that up now as well and put some netting over it. And yeah, I think they'll be okay there. I've got 2 more beds to put in here. The soil there, I'll put that back inside the beds. So that'll be good to go as well. I'm going to prune the fig tree a little bit, because some of these branches are hanging down onto the bed, so they can be taken off. So I've trimmed off the fig branches, and I've actually just pushed them into the ground near the tree. And I'd probably say 1/3 of these now, so probably 1 out of these 3 will actually root, and then I'll have an extra free fig tree. The 2 beds that were there, I transported down into the kitchen garden area because they were sage colour. I've got 2 nice cream ones to go there. So yeah, I really feel like we are getting on top of this plot now, and the same down on the grapevine garden. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do plot tours soon. Just waiting for a nice sunny day, you know, that isn't freezing cold. But it's all looking okay here now. But yeah, I'm happy with it so far anyway. It takes time, you know, don't rush your allotment or your garden. take your time. And I mean, I planned on having all this done by the end of the year, but things happen, life happens. So just don't beat yourself up if it's taken a little bit longer than you think. Just enjoy your garden. I'm Danny, and this is not the Grapevine Garden. This is Grow Up.